What's up, guys? This is a little members only video slash ramble slash rant going out there for you guys. And I just wanted to talk about plans and where my plans are at for SHTF or large scale war. I do believe that the war won't be instantly nukes launched and doomsday galore. Hopefully, it'll be a land war for quite a length of time before anything gets to that sort of level. But we will start to see massive changes around us as it starts to happen. Now, my plans for full-on SHTF or the collapse of social order and law and order around is mags, and I don't have one at the moment. I'll hold my hands up that my plan is literally on the bordering on the level of lone wolf at the moment. I started the UK Prep forum to try and get some network built together, and I'm now trying to launch off the back of that the UK Prep network, UKPN, and it should be for like-minded people in the UK. We'll have some sort of recognizable insignia, recognizable to each other but not to Joe Blogs of the public, just so we know who's in and who's out, who's part of it, sort of thing. And it gives us that common ground and that kind of same sort of thinking when it comes to SHTF. And building this network means obviously knowing locations of certain people and meet points and things like that eventually, because we, as much as we can prepare, we don't know where strikes are going to come from, where they're going to hit first, if it's going to be EMP just from in the atmosphere, or if it's going to be an actual ground explosion, major cities, etc. So you can have your own personal bug out plan, but that has got to be something that you can change, something you can, adjust. If my whole plan was to bug out north and, everything above Manchester has been scorched earthed, then obviously that's going to have to change, and vice versa. If your plan is to bug out to the south coast and that's where an invasion force is coming from, then your plan's got to change. So having this network of people that can either come together and travel to a location together and have a strength in numbers kind of group, or at least have ports of call, like, oh no, I've got to bug out, I've got to head towards Yorkshire, I don't know anyone in Yorkshire. Hang on, yes I do. Such a body for such a place. I can at least stop there and get water and regroup and think about what my next steps are. So it's about building that network, and it's not a reliance network where you're going to have everyone else from the network coming scrounging, because it's purely based around preppers. Now, you might have a prepper in a bad situation and his entire stockpile's been wiped out. But you know for a fact, the fact he's of that mentality of a prepper, he's got that survival instinct, them skills, that he's going to have something to offer. So it's about opening your doors to people within the network, getting together and having that plan that you can then adjust accordingly. All right. I mean, this is the dream. I'm not saying it's possible. I'm not saying it's going to happen overnight, but I know at least several people in the forums now where I'd be comfortable turning up to where they live to say, dude, I need some help. You know what I mean? If it came to that situation. And I would obviously offer something in return, skills, work, labor, whatever I had to do. So it is about building that sort of community. I'd like to be a hub of that. Obviously, that's dependent on me moving to a better location and having somewhere that's more sustainable for a larger amount of people. But I'd like to be somebody that people come to in the same sort of situation. So that's the plan. That's what I'd like to start to build more of. Okay, so I've got help with a member on here and a member of the forum with Josh, who's designed us a cool little insignia patch, which I'm going to get done into car stickers and patches, hopefully, to begin with. not for the sake of selling merch. I'll be literally knocking them out at cost price just so people in the network have these. So yeah, I'd love to get your thoughts and opinions on this. I don't know why that's just popped up mid the notifications. Somebody's just subscribed. Appreciate it, but you're never going to see this video unless you remember. Anyway, that's just bad timing. But yeah, this is how you can tell it's unscripted. My biggest fears at the moment is if it comes to something like this. I literally just finished reading 1 Second After. Great read, or audible if you prefer to listen. But yeah, it's a great book, and it really does hit home about your abilities, because lots of my plans are centered around vehicles and cars that probably wouldn't work after an EMP blast. Communication points that, yeah, great, I'll have some radios in the Faraday box, but you never know if that's going to fully work until after the fact. So it's about committing these things to memory, having a physical map of, I know which way I'm going, I know whose house I'm going to, and my biggest fear is that that's all going to have to be on foot. So, and I've got family in tow. I've also got kids that live with another parent to think about. How do I go and try and get them to come with me, and how does that discussion go, and how does that happen? There's so much to think about. It almost like fries your mind. This is probably why I'm not getting all that much sleep at the moment. But the immediate family and the immediate bug out plan is number one, and hopefully it never comes to that, but I would love to build that network to get that in place, to then have that as a fallback, or as something to put your mind at ease more than anything else. So yeah, but for the way I think the war will unfold, with food rationing, supplies, fuel, stuff like that, it's gonna become a very poor society. Lots of businesses will close, lots of jobs will be lost, money value will start to just drop completely. So whatever you can do to stave that off at this stage, without absolutely bankrupting yourself or sacrificing your lifestyle, I would highly recommend. Whether that's having a stockpile of tradable goods, whether it's a stockpile of physical cash or precious metals, because we all know if the SHTF really does happen, cash is not going to hold its value very long. So I'm looking at more tradable goods and things like that, but more about being able to sustain a life without a salary. So that's what you've got to look at. Constant water, constant food. What's your supply chains like? So yeah, hard times ahead if this NATO-Russia war does escalate. And I think they'll be gradual. We'll see slow and steady gradual changes rather than one big "it's war" and everybody panic. You might have the initial rush of panic and panic buying and stuff like that. We all know what that's like, but it will level off, but it'll be shortage on a lot of things. You'll get to the point where supermarkets are rationing. You can only buy one item of this or one item of that, So just be ready for that. Be ready for what it was like through COVID, but probably is 10 times worse. And if you prep nothing else, prep your head, prep your mental health, be ready for this, be able to stay in, be able to have no money, be able to talk and entertain yourself where you can, So yeah, just keep that in mind, and keep in mind, as well as everyone likes to prep for the worst case scenarios, but just be ready for these small, subtle little changes of price increases and supply chain issues. That's it. Just a little ramble for the members and just a preview of what I'm trying to do with UK Prep Network. So If you're interested in giving me any sort of feedback, feel free to reach out to the email, ukurbanprepper@gmail.com. Comment on here. By all means, this is going to stay members only. And also, don't forget to check out the forum, ukprep.co.uk. If you sign up, it'll say you've got to be approved. You will be approved within 24 hours, as long as you've filled everything out. But the emails are sometimes not going out, so just come back in 24 to 48 hours and you should be able to log in. So, yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Thank you for your continued support. I really do appreciate it, and I will keep trying to get content out to you guys as much as possible. Bye.